My name is Abafira Abagidi. I'm a host of Dr. Google Show. I'm here today to ask Mr. Kadiro from the last segment we had. There is a question I had. I'm here to answer that question, and it's a serious question, my friend. Welcome back, brother man.
Thank you for having me.
Brother, my question for you that we didn't answer last time because we didn't have no time. During the Abyssinian expansion, it is almost been mentioned more than 5 million Oromo has been massacred. And the majority, during those time, most of the people saying that the whole Oromo population during those time is not around 10 million. So we claiming, or many people claims, that 5 million, half of the population has been massacred. Can you justify that for me?
To begin with, we don't have the population, the exact figure as to the population of Africa by then.
Yes.
And Horn of Africa, yep. And Ethiopia as well.
Yep.
There is no idea of census in that country, right, or in the continent.
Right.
And most of the information we have comes in the form of estimates, most of them from the European travelers, right, who just went to that part of Africa for different missions. Right. Some of them as diplomats, some of them as a missionary, some of them were just simply going there to hunt animals. Right. So according to the most European travelers who have been to that part of Africa, right, the population of the Oromo were just reduced by more than 5 million, right, after the expansion of Minilik, right, to different parts of Oromo land, right, to different parts of Oromia. Yep. So this is not, something which Oromo scholars are making up today, right, or something we are just simply claiming to justify that the Minilik army massacred our population. Is something which is written, which is documented by the European travelers who neither have religious affiliation or any diplomatic support for the Oromo people. Right. One of the best examples for this comes in the form of an evidence written by the French missionary who had a very great knowledge about the Oromo territory by then. He has been, for a long time in Oromo. Right. So according to his estimate, from 1870 to 1880, the population of the Oromo were estimated somewhere between 10 million and maybe above. Right. And he estimated the population, different Abyssinian groups together like 4 million. Right. So according to this guy, when he went to France and come back, he saw that the population of Oromo were almost reduced by half of the size he saw like a couple of decades ago. Right. He said that the population of Oromo supposed to just double or go as high as 3 times. Right. When he just came back after 3 decades. Right. He expected the population of the Oromo to be or 25 or 30 million because he saw an Oromo land was, by then it was rich country, flowing with milks and honey, and exactly the replica of something that the Bible mentioned in the book of Genesis. Right. So this is what he said. Right. And also the Russian traveler, and also somehow who just helped Menilik to expand into different parts of the Oromia, right, Blatovich, yeah, who was mercenary. Right. He also said, this is an Orthodox Christian guy, right, who had this more sympathy for the Abyssinians Orthodox. Yep. But he said that the Oromos were killed at an industrial scale. It was a dreadful annihilation of more than half of the population of the Oromo, he said. Right. And also different European travelers like Augustus Whaley, Dr. Johnson, who has been to that part of Africa, reported the same atrocities committed against different nations and nationalities conquered by the Mennonite army. Right. And Evelyn Waugh, who just got a chance to travel different parts of the country after the Italian conquest of 1936, right, he also mentioned the same degree of crimes committed against these nations and nationalities conquered by the Mennonite army. Right. So Marjorie Parham, she has also the same claims. So when we say that the Abyssinians killed the Oromos in such magnitude, in a large numbers, millions, we are not, fabricating and saying that the Mennonite army committed a crime against the Oromo people. It is something documented. It is something said by the Europeans who were just most likely supportive of the Mennonite expansion, right, project, right, than the Oromos maintaining their independence. Right. The question is, it is not, like one Oromo dying, right, or a million Oromo dying. There was a killing. The killing was basically motivated by the Abyssinian dream of conquering the Oromo land. It's a hate crime because the territorial nationalism.
Right.
Abyssinia wanted the land, not the people, not the population, different nationalities. According to this Abyssinian tradition, the nations and nationalities that conquered, the Oromos, the Kafas, Walaitas, Sidamas, and Majangar, Ogaden, they were simply a burden the Abyssinians has to civilize. So it was this that motivated to annihilate them, so that they can conquer the land or turn into the tenant on the very own land, claiming that they are just regaining or controlling their historical territories. And
now, my question, let me give you another question, just on that. Where do you think the Abyssinian get a gun as much as gun of those times? Because those times the majority of African countries being colonized. And where is the civilization gun come from? How are we not be able to get a gun during those times? How Oromo didn't get a gun to defend himself? Oh, I want to keep you a little bit on this. One thing I wonder is that the Gojam and the Gondar farmers don't really have an idea of what the elites are doing in Oromia land. Meaning I really regret the poor Gojam and Gondar were taking a claim by just simply being Namara. But they have that dream of colonizing the Oromo's land. You can you can see a name of Amara, Shoangizao, Shoankatao, Shoaisma. What is this dream of colonization of Oromia, those farmers, innocent people learn from?
This is a part of the Abyssinian tradition, and Abyssinians have fabricated such a very extended genealogy to King Solomon and Queen of Sheba.
Right.
And there is this book called Kebrenegist, which talks about glories of kings.
Right.
According to Abyssinian tradition, they are very superior to the rest of the population of the Horn of Africa.
Right.
They claim that they are a descendant of King Solomon, the glorious king of Judah.
Yeah.
Which means that King Solomon has a connection to Moses, Moses has a connection to Jesus, and they believe that...
I want to ask you a little bit question on that. King Solomon and Queen Sheba, we're talking about 950 BC. And where we are talking is about 18th century.
Yes.
How do you think is it relevant to the Ethiopian history where even the Queen Sheba was across the Red Sea?
Yeah.
She's a Yemenian. Can you elaborate, talk about that?
They just, usurped the myth to legitimize their expansion. They claim that they are the descendants of the Queen of Sheba, while historically we know that the Queen of Sheba probably she belonged to somewhere in the present-day southern Yemen, to the now defunct kingdom of Saba. But they claim that she is a Tigrayan girl from Aksum who married to King Solomon by the magic of this devil, transporting him via the Red Sea, and she just impregnated and came back and gave birth to this Menelik first in somewhere in 1962, while we know that Aksum only came into existence 1,000 years after whatever they just claimed. He is a mythical founder of the kingdom of Aksum, which God also entitled him to rule the entire humanity, because according to Abyssinian legend, this guy managed to steal the Ark of Covenant, one of the most important totem of the Christianity and the civilization and the communication of God and the human beings. So by virtue of possession of this very valuable symbol, they claim that they have the right, a manifest destiny to conquer different nations and nationalities of the Horn of Africa, if possible, to rule the entire humanity. It is this cycle that explains Abyssinians' love of expansion and war and this pervasive culture of, conquest and trying to rule their neighbors. They believe that they are the civilized, the superior ones who are entitled to just conquer and loot everything that belongs to others because they are the heathens, they are the one wanted by the God. It is this that explains these Abyssinian names you mentioned, like Shawan Gizao, just conquer, colonize Shawa, Shawan Kitao, penalize Shawa, because penalizing them is allowed to them because the Shawans are the savage, according to them, they are the civilized. The Shawans are inferior, they are superior. And Shawan Dain, pacify Shawa, just rule Shawa. And also different names, Shawa Yirga, which means like pacify Shawa,
Right,
which they claim that the Shawa, before the conquest, is the land of heathens, land of barbarians, where people engage in a perpetual cycle of wars and fightings, a land of pagans and a land of ruthless warriors who just love shedding the blood of one another.
Oh.
And this is the Abyssinian myth, a myth simply created to justify their expansion, but the myth which underestimates everything they almost contributed for the civilization of the world, like the Ghana system.
I'm going to go to the next question, man. This is a lot. This is a lot. You got this book, you're going to get what he's saying. I want to go to the next question. You wrote about this book of the United States and the Ethiopian, the tragedy of human rights. You wrote about the expansion of Eritrea during the Haile Selassie, which is, how do you think on empire of Haile Selassie expansion, his empire to Eritrea, and the U.S. played the role? What do you think? What is the role of the United States?
Yes, one is very interesting fact is the Abyssinian expansion did not stop with a Menelik expansion, which ended in 1897 and finalized by the British-Ethiopian Treaty of 1902.
Yeah.
Abyssinia continued to expand after that. And the first thing that happened was when Abyssinia tried to control Eritrea and different parts of Ogaden after the British Army liberated Ethiopia in 1941. And then the Italians ruled Eritrea from 1980 to 1941. But when Italians left the country, the Eritreans supposed to have their say over the future, because they were under the colonial occupation of Italy. But United States by then has got this security interest in the Horn of Africa. They had this military technology, a satellite station, a radio tracking station.
Yeah, called Kanyo.
Yes, a radio tracking station called Kanyo. In the vicinity of Asmara. They want to keep this very important facility in the hand of a friendly nation. Then it was this that America became a part of Abyssinian expansion. They supported Abyssinia to conquer
the
Eritrea, so that this institution and this facility would remain in the hand of a friendly Christian nation, as opposed to be controlled by, say, a hostile Islamic country. So because of this, America became a part of Abyssinian agenda, Abyssinian expansion program, and United States totally disregarded the right of Eritreans to have a say over the future and decided Abyssinia to control Eritrea. And the interesting point is the Secretary of State of the United States of the time said that, I do recognize that the Eritreans have the right to have a say over the future. I do recognize that the Eritreans have the natural right to exercise their self-determination, but the national security of the United States is more important to us than the right of the Eritrean people. So this is a kind of the tragedy I'm trying to write. United States is sponsoring a country which ruled by this dictatorial king, which is inimical with any concept of civilization that humanity embraced. Any concept of democratization and human right and accountability of the government, to engulf this tiny nation of Eritrea, who were exercising their constitutional right and voting and having a civilized parliament. And then when Ethiopia occupied Eritrea, they dismantled all the democratic structures of the Eritrean people, and Eritrea was just re-feudalized. And Eritrea became again a part of the Orthodox Christian structure of the Abyssinia, whereby the landlord became again the dominant aspect of the Eritrean life, which led to the struggle and succession of Eritrea.
So simply,
in
Eritrea was
1991.
Eritrea was a gift from United States to Empire Haile Selassie.
Exactly. Eritrea was, against the wills of the Eritreans. It was.
Now, I have to go to the next segment. You know, one of the things I love with your book is that you can turn a page, read 2-3 pages, it puts a smile on your face. To be honest with you. One of the things I found it is funny was that you have the generation of revolution which is in 1970 during, you know what I'm talking. And you said peaceful place during those times, located in Liban, the ritual capital of Gada system. Like it's a very funny. You said, you know, Jerusalem for the Jewish, Makkah for the Muslim, Aksum for the Abyssinia, and also the Liban for Oromo, the holy city. I like that one.
Exactly, because every Borana participating in the Gada system has a duty of going and visiting ritual lands in Negele.
Right.
They have this duty of going for Dawa, Ibayu, and for different Gada traditions.
Right.
So Negele, I mean, Liban is such very important aspect of a Borana culture.
Right.
It's like the heartland of a Borana.
The holy city.
The holy city.
I like it.
Yeah.
And I want to segment. You also talked about General Wako Gutu, the greatest revolutionary of our time.
Yeah.
And I think, do you think by near future the Oromo's gonna live his dream?
I think we have a very strong potential to actualize the dreams of our forefathers who dreamed about the freedom of the Oromo land, the freedom of our people, our culture, our tradition, our language. We are on the way to attain that. We regained our language. We regained most of the things that we lost. Actually, there is a lot of way we need to go. We need to travel. But I mean, the beginning is good. Today we are just going in the school and learning in our language, in our Kobe. And we have somehow a limited freedom to express about ourselves. I know that our land is taken. There is this issue of land grab in Oromia. And Oromo is still ruled by the Tigrans at the gunpoint. There is a lot of problems. But still there is a progress. And this progress came as a result of selfless Oromos who sacrificed their life for...
Gentlemen, this man, even if we talk 24 hours, 7 days a week, he got something to say. Kadiro, can I tell you the digger? You dig down. You read more than 200-300 books. You find out the truth. I think the Oromo people honor you, my friend.
Thank you very
much.
much.
Great job. Well done.
Thank you.
Great job. Well done. I couldn't. I wish I could have a language to appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, this book is a great. It's a one of brilliant Oromo I've never met. He's a great person. Do you want to buy this book? You can get in any Oromo store in the United States. You can buy on Amazon. Otherwise, you can go on brandly designed the East African Press. He's the owner of the East African Press, which is eastafricanpress.com, which is going to be launched on 25th of August. Ladies and gentlemen, this guy is a deep digger. Good luck, man. Thank you.